From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold, we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets. Yes, sir, man. Dr. PG back in the building, man. Here for ETTS number 7, man. It's Engineers to the Streets number 7, man. Episode 7, man. I'm looking forward to this, man. You know, this weekend, man, there was a lot. You know, first, before we get into it, man, I just want to be thankful, man. I'm thankful for my journey, thankful for everything, man. We're gonna start with a little prayer, and then we're gonna keep it rolling, man. I thank God that we're able to have another episode of Engineers to the Streets. Got to see the brightness of another beautiful day, man. Hopefully we see many more. And I appreciate the opportunity to be able to share my time doing something I enjoy and share it with some wonderful people, man. So thank God for that, man. I hope everybody's blessed. And peace, love, and harmony. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's get it popping, man. So over the weekend, there was a lot of things going on, man. But first, I want to start off, you know, in light of a prayer, too. I want to send some thoughts and love and goodwill and many blessings over there to Hawaii, man. Hawaii, last time I checked, up until the recording of this video, man, they're experiencing a lot of devastation, a lot of tragedy due to the fires out there, man. And there's been at least 89 fatalities so far. So I just want to send some thoughts and love and good blessings, and you know, whatever you believe in, just positive energy out there to Hawaii, man. You know what I'm saying? They're on the far west coast, but you know, they're our countrymen, so and women. So shout out to them, man. And the fires have been they not only, in addition to the fires, they've also been experiencing some weather from Hurricane Dora. Now, granted, it didn't hit directly, but you know, the wind contributed to the spread of the fires, which they're experiencing right now, man. And you know what? This is an engineering show. You know, I'm an engineer. You know what I'm saying? With my PhD, my doctorate. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna explain to you briefly what causes wind, for those of you that don't know, man. Just real brief, not get into it. So there's two major factors for the existence of wind, creation of wind, man. Two main points would be pressure and temperature difference. You know, so a lot of you may or may not know that hot air tends to expand and rise, right? And cool air, which is more dense, which is heavier, it tends to fall, you know. So because it's the hotter, it's heavier than the hot air, obviously. So so it forces its way onto the hotter air as its replacement because it's heavier, you know what I'm saying? And as it forces its way to replace the cooler air, the air begins to move horizontally, horizontally from typically from high pressure to low pressure. And so that's what really causes the generation of wind. I'm just trying to give y'all a synopsis of it. You know, you can look deeper into yourself. In addition, as well, I don't want to forget the Coriolis effect, which you have to go look up yourself, but it has to do with the Earth's rotation and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm not gonna get into great details, but just remember heat, remember temperature and pressure differential, and amongst other things, in addition to the Coriolis effect, those are responsible for like the cyclonic weather patterns that you will see in severe weather like hurricanes, tornadoes, but also in minor generations of wind as well. So yeah, man, and it also contributes to other weather systems as well. So yeah, just remember temperature and pressure. Those are the main two. If you don't remember anything else, you know, remember those are the main two things that generate wind. So yeah, man, shout out to the people out there, man, in Hawaii. And you know, in light of the hurricane, like I said, it didn't hit directly, but that wind is causing a lot of that generation. I mean, a lot of the spreading of those fires out there, man. So big prayers out there. You know, on a lighter note, on a much lighter note, man. You know, while I was chilling this weekend, I saw something from Big Snoop Dogg, man. You know what I'm saying? He goes by a lot of things. Like he goes by Uncle Snoop, you know, Snoop D-O-double-G, Snoop Lion. You know, so show him some love right there, man. Give him some credit, man. We want to show some love to Uncle Snoop, man. You know, he came a long way from gangster rap. You know, he came from gangster rap. He went from movies to narrating. I think I heard about it, narrating the AI writing tool or something like that. I don't remember, man. It was an ad, but this is his charitable work, man. So I just want to shout out to OG Snoop, man. I appreciate that, man. Enjoyed a lot of his work and a lot of his endeavors over the course of my life, man. So I just wanted to show some shout out and show some love to people out there making a positive influence and positive change in their community, man, representing themselves and others well. Also, too, man, in addition to that shout out, I also want to shout out the NBA Hall of Fame inductees. We have many people like Coach Greg Popovich, you know, D Wade out there from Florida, you know, talking about Miami gang, stand up. You know, he was born in Illinois, I believe, but you know, so he been repping. The majority of his career was in Miami, so we love that, man. Shout out to Becky Hammond. You know, Becky Hammond got showing some love from a coaching perspective, and you know, shout out to one time for the women as well, man, representing the women out there. I think Dirk was also in there. We ain't gonna name everybody amongst some other. Oh, Tony Parker, can't say Coach Pop and not say Tony Parker, as well as Paul Gasol too, man. Like rest in peace, King Kobe. You know, his teammate of the late great legend Kobe, man, whose name's right here on the desk. Yeah, man, I just want to shout out them for making the Hall of Fame, and the others too I didn't name. Shout out to everybody, man. That's a hell of an achievement, dog. That's a hell of an achievement. So you want to show love to them, man. Give the credit where credit is due. I love seeing people get recognized and receive the accolades for all the hard work that they put in their respective craft. But staying on the topic of NBA. This is even lighter note, man. James Harden, there's some trouble out there in Philly, man. There's some trouble out there in Philly. I don't know if you saw, but apparently James Harden is very disgruntled, very disturbed, very bothered. He's very frustrated with the situation. Apparently he wanted to trade. Obviously, you know, he wanted to trade, but according to sources, including ESPN, he was out there in China, and he let his feelings be known. He let himself be heard. He minced no words. He said, man, he would no longer play for a liar like Daryl Morey. Those of you who are unfamiliar, Daryl Morey is the president of the Philadelphia 76ers basketball organization. So apparently, I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, because it's a little weird, right? Because, you know, he just recently opted into his player option, so he's getting some paper. So he's there for at least, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, I think another year at least, a minimum of an additional year. So you opted your player option, but then you want to trade. So I'm assuming that there was some private talks, and somebody's not upholding the end of the bargain, probably Daryl Morey. And he probably told him, hey, man, we going to get you where you want to go. Just do this, sign this, whatever. And now we here right now, man, because he called him a liar out front. He didn't, like I said, he didn't spare any words. He did throw no subliminals. He even repeated it twice. He said, I vow not to play for another organization affiliated with Daryl Morey. So, yeah, he's been lied to. He claims he's been lied to. Daryl Morey's a liar. So we're going to see how that unfolds out there in Philly, man. Another issue with Philly, man. I'm sorry to y'all, man. I'm sorry, man. God bless y'all Philly fans, man. Y'all tough. Y'all some riders, man, because Philly been going through it with Ben Simmons. Well, how's Joel Embiid going to feel? He just won MVP. You thinking, okay, we about to build something for real? And you know what I'm saying? Y'all lost AI. Come on, man. Y'all just can't get right, man. Y'all just can't get right. It's funny, you know, I love to see it, you know, I'm Miami all day. It's just another team that we ain't got to worry about, but you know what I'm saying? It's just funny, man. But I really hope that things, you know, get fixed out there, man, and stuff like that. But you don't want to feel betrayed, you know, because they have a long-lasting relationship. It's really crazy to see because, you know, they've been rocking together for at least a decade since back in Houston and Philly. You know, they seem to have had a good rapport, but you know, hey, nothing lasts forever, right? So apparently it's beginning to sour, man. Things about to get messy in Philly once again. About to get messy in Philly once again, man. So yeah, speaking of messy, you know, we gonna get down to the 6 degrees between us, man. Y'all know what it is. Those of you unfamiliar with the podcast, you know, me and my boy Dr. TC, who occasionally pops up on the show. He has his PhD in engineering. I have my PhD in engineering. His is robotics. My specialty is sustainable energy. So we have 6 degrees between us, include our bachelor's, master's, and PhD. So we called it 6 degrees between us right here, man. We drop 6 topics that are that we find very interesting, and we kick it to y'all like that, man. So today, to start off 6 degrees between us, we gonna stay on the topic of being messy in the NBA. We got my boy Gilbert Arenas, man. So those of you know, the FIBA World Cup is coming. Not that it's coming, it's here actually. The FIBA World Cup is here, man, and yeah, we got a lot of people complaining about the current roster, you know, and Gilbert Arenas is one of them. You know, let me pull up the, you know, we gonna talk about it, man. Now the Gilbert Arenas, man, he's not one to mix words. He's gonna keep it really very, very, very blunt. He's gonna keep it very blunt, and he said, you know, I'm not even gonna paraphrase. He said, "This is a sorry ass group." You know, point blank period. He said that it is a sorry ass group on a podcast while he was talking to Trae Young. Now, I think that's good and bad. You know, Gilbert Arenas, man, I like him for his personality and stuff like that. But, you know, he had his own troubles. We gonna let that go. He seems to have made amends, and he's on the up and up, and he's very vocal. That's what we love about him. However, to me, he kind of reminds me of like The Game. You know, The Game, the rapper. He's a dope rapper. He's a great rapper. But sometimes he just seems to just Stop. He never ceases to stop talking about other people. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel with Gilbert Arenas. That's a comparison I'm making there. Gilbert Arenas is a great basketball player, is all right, but every time he talks, it seems like he's throwing shade at somebody, and it gets kind of old. That's the bad part. That's the bad part. But the good part is, I think he has a point. Not that, you know, and no shade to the people. I don't think they're a sorry ass group. You know, I think they're good. You know, of course they're in the NBA, so they can't be that bad. However, to be the caliber of players for global worldly competition, I think it's a little lackluster. And then when you add the fact that Trae Young himself has said that he didn't even receive an invitation, it's like, what are we doing? Like, you know, Trae Young, he's an all-star caliber player, great player out of Atlanta, plays for Atlanta Hawks. How can you not even extend him an invitation? I know, you know, they got a lot of thought into it, a lot of coaching into it, a lot of scouting into it. So they thinking about how players rather will complement each other. You know, you got team chemistry is a very vital part to success. However, it's like, you got to give these players a chance, man. They're all professionals. So yeah, it might not mesh immediately. You know, it ain't gonna be no microwave effect. You might have to, you know, let that thing marinate, slow cook it like a turkey for Thanksgiving. You know what I'm talking about? A couple days before, we gotta let that thing marinate for them to build the chemistry. But to just exclude people, that's, I don't know, man. I definitely don't think we're putting our best foot forward. I'm gonna be completely honest. I definitely don't think we're putting our best foot forward. Because there's some other players that have said that they didn't even receive an invitation to it. It just kind of makes you scratch your head like, hold on, this player got there. But this player didn't even get an invitation. It's like, you know what? I just feel like it's, you know, it's just a little crazy. That's all. I just think it's a little crazy. But it's not too, I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't say it's a sorry ass group, but it's definitely, we definitely didn't put our best foot forward. So I agree with him on that. What we're gonna do is, you know, the roster, I don't know if it's officially been announced, but let's look at some of the roster right here. Let me pull up some of the roster so y'all can let me know what y'all think. All right, so I have this information for you, man. So look, this is where we're gonna start off with Paolo Banchero, good player. You know, he's, you know, out there in Orlando, young player. Mikal Bridges, great defensive player. Jalen Brunson, you know his thing. He showed out in Dallas. That's what got him that big contract in New York. You know what I'm saying? New York Knicks now. Anthony Edwards, you know what he does in Minnesota. Very athletic, young, promising guard. Tyrese Halliburton, he gonna shoot that rock with the best of them. Josh Hart, he be making them faces, right? The memes. We got Brandon Ingram. He a good player though. Brandon Ingram out there in the Pelicans. You know what I'm saying? Great player as well, man. A lot of people compared him to Kevin Durant for his physique and his play style. I don't think he quite yet met those expectations, but he's definitely balling out there in Louisiana. So in New Orleans, you know, he's definitely doing his thing. Jared Jackson Jr., you know, defensive player of the year. He got a lot of notches on his belt, a lot of accolades. You got Cam Johnson, Walker Kessler, Bobby Portis. Austin Reeves, you know, the young boy out there in LA. Bobby Portis, like I said, Minnesota, and I'm not gonna name everybody, but y'all know what it is. So that's kind of what Gilbert Arenas is talking about. Is did anybody, like, all these players are great, but offensively, maybe one player is definitively better than Trae Young. Maybe Jalen Brunson, if you want to say. I don't think he's definitive. Let me rephrase that. None of these players are definitively better than Trae Young. So even if Trae Young's not on the team, why didn't he get an invitation? He can't get extended the invitation. You see what I'm saying? So that's where I feel like Gilbert Arenas, like I said, I love the fact that he's vocal. He's very unfiltered. He's gonna let you know how he feels. I love that about him. Sometimes I feel like he goes a little bit too far. But this time, man, I really feel like he has a point, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Also, of course, as always, man, y'all can reach us as engineer. You can reach us at Engineers to the Streets. You see it going across the ticker at the bottom, engineers to the streets at gmail.com. Let us know what you think, man. Let me know about this. Is Gilbert Arenas tripping? I think he has a good point on this one, man. Sometimes he be wilding, but I think he has a very good point on this one in particular, man. I think, like I said, I wouldn't say any of them are sorry. I think that's a little too harsh, but, you know, you gonna speak how you feel. You know, he probably didn't mean it like that either way, but then again, he might have meant it like that. The boy had it, you know, so that boy had that piece in that locker room, you know what I'm talking about? Let's get it popping. Let's move on, man. We're gonna stay on the topic of teams. Let's get right back to the World Cup, man. The World Cup. Y'all know what it is. Oh, man, this one kind of hurt me because last time I talked to y'all, I was looking forward. You know, we were looking forward to Jamaica going against Colombia. But just like my team Nigeria is part of me, my team United States of America, which is also part of me, Dang, y'all hear that thunder? It's thunderstorming. It's thunderstorming out here in Florida right now. I'm still here to bring y'all the product. You know what I'm saying? I'm kicking the product to you. It's dope, man, brother. The dope, man. We out here. But let's get right. So I'm here to kick this product, this information to y'all. But yeah, like Jamaica, you know, it's also part of me. I'm Jamaican, a Nigerian, American. All three of my teams are out, man. Jamaica fell to Colombia 1-0. Shout out to Colombians out there. Much respect to the Colombians down there in South America, man. But now Colombia will be going to Colombia. They also fell. I got a lot of updates to give y'all because we ain't talked since last time. It was been a little bit ago. But Colombia also fell to England. So right now, England is the current favorite to win it all. I'm sorry. No, they're not. Spain's #1 favorite to win it all. England #2. So right now we're in the semifinals, man. We are in the semifinals. We got who is it? We got Spain versus Sweden and Australia versus England. So Australia, England. If Australia beats England, that'd be crazy, man. You know, they got a little country rivalry right there, man. You know, looking like Australia, like the little, treated like the little redheaded stepchild, as they would say. I love redheads, you know, my team. But, you know, apparently that's a stigma. You know, redheaded stepchild means you've been treated badly, you know, treated like a little stepbrother. So, they would love to come and knock out England. That'd be crazy. But, as of right now, the favorites, according to the betting favorites, are, of course, Spain #1 and England coming in #2. They're the betting favorites to beat in the finals. So right now, because America's out, Nigeria's out, Jamaica's out, I personally don't really have a preference. I guess I would lean towards Sweden, because Sweden, they're the ones that knocked us out. And then shout out to the Swedish player, I can't remember her name, Aslani something. I don't want to mess up her name. Kosovar Aslani. She defended the legacy of Team USA, man. Hold it down. So she was like, they're pioneers of women's soccer. You know what I'm saying? And so I really appreciate that. I thought that was dope, because the U.S. Women's national team have begun getting a lot of slander from politicians and people hating on them from all over the place, you know, especially led by Trump. You know, he's never short of a controversy and short of hate. So, you know, he was spewing some hate their way, especially towards Megan Rapinoe and stuff like that, who didn't perform well. And some old footage have been coming up. Some old content been coming up of her, and people have been using that to poke jazz. You know, they love to kick you when you're down and stuff like that. Just keep your head up, you know. Shout out to the women out there, man. So shout out to Aslani, man. She really gave him some words of encouragement, and I really respect that. So I guess I would kind of lean towards Sweden, just because they had that player that come out and show some love to the United States women's national team. They're getting kicked while they're down, man. If I'm not mistaken, this is the earliest that the United States women's national team have been kicked out of the World Cup. So they've been eliminated out of the World Cup at the earliest time. So, you know, it's okay, man. They were going to repeat. So they were going to be the first to three-peat. They're going to be the first to three-peat. So, well, what's up, man? You know, you got to show them love. Yeah, they fell short, you know, in a bad fashion, but but we don't need to kick them while they down. They definitely, you know, other countries aren't going to roll over, and they're the ones that had this. We had the mark on our chest, you know, our mark on our back. So we had the target on our back. So you know, it is what it is, man. Shout out to let's see how it goes between Australia and England and Spain and Sweden, man. We're gonna pull for Sweden a little bit, man. So yeah, that's it for the World Cup news. The Women's World Cup, they doing their thing, man. They continue doing their thing. That's all we're gonna talk about right there. We're gonna move on, man. Other sports related news. So I guess I'll be pulling for Sweden, and if I was to pull for Sweden, then I would think, as a prediction, I would think it's going to be Sweden versus. I'm hoping for Sweden versus Australia. I think that'd be a dope World Cup finals, man. That'd be dope. Nobody would expect that, man. So I would like to see Sweden versus Australia. And in other sports related news, man, we gonna move on to other sports related news. Check this out, man. I got something to show y'all right here, man. So Richard Sherman and Rachel Nichols, excuse me, according to multiple credible sources and media outlets, they have said that it's pretty much official, man. Rachel Nichols and Richard Sherman are going to be joining Skip, apparently as their effort to as Undisputed's effort to replace good old Uncle Sharpe. You know what I'm saying? Shannon Sharpe. Always keep it funky, Shannon Sharpe, man. So that's what they're going to try to do, bring Richard Sherman. I think it's going to be a good dynamic between the two. You know, those of you unfamiliar with their history, they had some pretty electrifying history, man, with Richard Sherman essentially telling Skip Bayless that he's better at life than him than he is. And so because, you know, Skip Bayless is very vocal, he's known for his outlandish takes. You know, some of his takes are okay, but some of his takes are just, it seems like he's going for the shock value. Like, I don't even know if, I'm not even convinced that he even believes some of the takes that he has, because they're just so outrageous sometimes. And but that's how he made a living. You know, that's what makes him polarizing. That's what makes him, I guess, interesting to watch. You know, to me, it gets kind of boring, and it just gets kind of old. But people like that, you know. But I definitely think he's a great journalist, and he's a great he's great for TV. But it's just not my cup of tea. If I was to watch Undisputed, I only watch it for Shannon Sharpe. But like I said, I think that these two, the dynamic between these two, are going to be great. And then you know, bringing in Rachel Nichols, who's very knowledgeable on sports, and she's a great TV personality as well. So. And she knows her craft, so I think they're going to complement each other well. But some people are saying that Richard Sherman is kind of taking the L right here because he's going out as a token black guy. You know what I'm saying? And I show Cameron Mason and Stat Baby Treasure. I show them because even on their show, they're one of the many folks that are saying that you know, they predicted this, that Skip is going to try to go for another person that could attract the urban culture, you know what I'm saying, the urban viewer. And they're kind of clowning Richard Sherman for being that, you know, taking that bullet and being that token black guy. But, you know, at the same time, I think that dynamic is going to be good for TV, like whether there's a cultural dynamic, the fact that, you know, once again, just like Shannon Sharpe, Richard Sherman also played the game at an extremely high level. So he's going to bring in another perspective to the show and to the analytics and to, you know what I'm saying? So when they do their analysis, it's going to bring a different dynamic. So he could somebody that could combat, that's not afraid to combat Skip, and he's a very educated brother, very intelligent brother, very intellectual, man. So we love Richard Sherman. He's going to break down the game at levels that we probably weren't even aware of at the time. So I think he's going to be great for the show. Do I think it's a bad look for him? Man, I'm going to be honest, all jokes aside, I can't be too critical because, you know, this is what he wants to do. He wants to be, he's part of the media now. He made that transition from athlete to media. So I think sometimes we're a little bit too hard on one another. It's an opportunity to shine. It's an opportunity that was, you know, that was vacant. He didn't have anything to do with Shannon Sharpe leaving. You know, they reached out to him, probably gave him a great offer, and that's what he wanted to do. So there's no shade on him. Now, I do understand because Skip seems to be a culture vulture sometimes. So I could understand I can understand, you know, the disdain for it, but at the same time, you know, maybe he could enlighten some people from point of view. So I think I'm a reserve and withhold my judgment until after I see how they interact and how he does, because I think he's gonna do great. You know, and what is he Stanford University educated brother, so he highly educated dude, man. And you know, so IT school, and I said IT school, I mean Ivy League school. So yeah, man, I expect great things. You know, people are going to talk, and I'm not saying that Cameron and Mason and others are wrong for their knock on it, but you know, I just want to withhold judgment and see how they interact and see how things play out. But I could definitely see how you will bestow that judgment, because that's what it looks like, man. Sometimes Skip will say things, and then even with shout out to my boy Lil Wayne, my favorite artist, my favorite rap artist of all time. I think he's the best of all time, but sometimes it does seem like he's kind of trying to strategically have certain guests on there at certain times to make sure that his viewership is up, and not that there's really a genuine relationship there or a genuine genuine like or preference for the person, to say the least. But like I said, I don't think I anticipate Richard Sherman is gonna, you know, if some of that stuff does exist, he's gonna expose that, you know, and talk about it, and they're gonna have open conversations. I think dialect is always good, man. When people converse from different sides of the rug, different sides of the street, and so on, different sides of the political spectrum, it gives great television, man. So I'm definitely gonna check in. I'm definitely gonna tune in to see the dynamic between the two and check the temperature. So I'm looking forward to that, man. Shout out to Cameron and Mason, because their take is crazy on It Is What It Is. I love that podcast. That podcast is so dope, man. Fire ass podcast for real. Go check it out if you haven't done so already. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So now let's move on to other things, man. Let's move on to other things. You know, it is the meat and potatoes, baby. You know, it is the meat and potatoes of the show, bruh. I'm just going to show you who we're going to talk about, man. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is, man. We about to talk about Bud Crawford again. Bud Crawford still in the news, man. Shout out to him. Shout out to Terence Bud Crawford, man. He's definitely on his, like, I would say he's on his I Told You So tour. You know, he's going by to different podcasts, different shows, being interviewed and telling people, hey, man, I told you I was going to do what I said I was going to do, and it's done now. You know what I'm saying? I did it, I done it. You know what I'm talking about? So, yeah, man, I think right now, a lot of talk is about him challenging Charlo. And I'm not going to lie. Initially, when I first heard this, prior to the Errol Spence fight, with demolition, because he demolished Errol Spence. Shout out my boy Errol Spence. And I actually had Errol Spence winning. You know, I was like, man, Charlo's too big, but now he convinced me, man. He convinced me. I think Bud came from 130, you know what I'm saying, 130 pounder. So now he's all the way at welterweight was 147. He's gonna go up to junior middleweight, which is 154, to challenge Charlo. I think they can make it happen, man. I think Bud, there's no reason not to pick Bud, in my opinion. I think it's a real deal. I think it's all in the ball's in Charlo's court. I think it will happen. Charlo, I will be honest, man. So a lot of people have been saying that Charlo is scared. Let me tell you something, man. This is boxing, man. You have to be a warrior. You have to be a different type of breed to get in there mano a mano. There's no teammate that you could blame if you fail. There's no coaching you could blame if you fail. Of course, you got trainers and stuff like that could prepare you, but you can't be like, oh, take me out, let me get a breather. You know what I'm saying? You got to be in the best shape. You got to outman this other person, and they do this all the time. This is not his first rodeo. So I'm very reluctant to say somebody is scared. We gonna get back to that. Hey, keep that in mind, because we gonna reference that a little later in the show. But I'm very reluctant to say these men and women that are warriors in my eyes, they're lions. I'm not gonna say that they're scared. However, I will say that people are a little reluctant to get in the ring. I think Charlo is a little apprehensive about fighting Crawford, because I'll tell you why. I do think that he's calculating, like, okay, my career, if I lose, that's gonna be bad. It's gonna be devastating. But if he wins, people are just gonna say he's a bigger dude. He's supposed to win. So, you know, you got to measure that, man. This is a business. This is their life. This is their lifestyle. Not lifestyle. This is their livelihood at stake. So, you know what I'm saying? They want to maintain a lifestyle. So if you lose, I think it's more damaging. Just like I thought with Errol Spence, I think it's more damaging to him that he loses than if Terence Crawford loses. Because if Errol Spence would have won, people would say, oh, you know, he's supposed to win. He's a bigger dude. If Terence Crawford would have lost, they say, oh, he's supposed to lose because he's a smaller dude. Even though boxing enthusiasts, me like myself, even though I had Errol Spence, I knew Terence Crawford could win. You know, and there's a reason why in Vegas, Terence Crawford was a betting favorite. You know what I'm saying? So he was a favorite. So this notion that everybody was against Terence Crawford, of course, Terence Crawford, you got to use anything you can as motivation. You know, I was wrong. I thought Errol Spence was going to win, but I knew it could have went either way. And these are two all-time greats, man. I really think that whoever won was clear-cut, pound for pound of this generation. Can't nobody say anything. And Terence Crawford won, so he's number one. Errol Spence didn't drop far. To me, he's number two. Either him or Canelo, if you want to say something like that. And there's some others that you could reference and bring up too. But Errol Spence, this notion that Errol Spence should retire, it's like, bro, now, should he retire maybe because he has something else going on mentally, or maybe physically he hasn't fully recovered from his injuries with his eye and all that stuff in light of the car accident and other injuries? Yeah, maybe retire. But you don't retire because you lost to the best. It was a battle of the best. It was a battle to determine who was the best. Why should the person that's second retire? Excuse me, he still beat Sean Porter. He still beat Kell Brook. He just beat Ugas. He was still undefeated until that point. So that whole notion that he should retire is silly. But I do think that Errol Spence should do what's best for him. Now, if he does exercise that rematch clause, Terence Crawford has been very vocal, saying that he's going to honor that, and he gives Errol Spence nothing but credit for the part that he played in making the fight happen, because we know it's between those two. So shout out to those boxers, Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. At the fight, if he does want a rematch clause, I do think that Errol Spence will have a lot to make up for, a lot of ground to cover. I do think it will be in his best interest to do it at a higher weight, as others like Floyd Mayweather has also suggested. I do think he should fight to do it at 154 at the very minimum. But I still think even at 154, I think Errol Spence will do much better and prepare a lot better. But to me, like I always say, man, the better boxer, the rematch always benefits the better boxer. In this case, like I said going into it, I might have picked wrong, but I've always said I thought Terence Crawford was a more skilled fighter, and he proved that. He's a lot more skilled. But Errol Spence is not. It's not that he's not skilled. He's just not as skilled as Terence Crawford. And to me, rematches always benefit the better boxer. Look at Andre Ward or Kovalev. You know, Kovalev was a puncher. Ward was a boxer. It got worse as the rematch went on. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. We see it time and time again. Deontay Wilder being the puncher, Fury being the better boxer. It got worse as it went on. So Errol Spence, I think he's gonna be the same thing. You know, in this, he's a great boxer, but in this outfit, him and Terence Crawford, he's the puncher, and Terence Crawford's a better boxer. So, but yeah, so I think Terence Crawford will win. But if somehow they bypass that, or maybe he does win and then he fights Charlo later, I think, yeah, man, I think Charlo would be in trouble. I think he kind of recognized that. Like I said, I don't think he's scared, because scared means that you don't want to fight and you're shivering. He's not scared and shivering, but I think you do have to weigh your options, and like I said, it's a business. You want to get the most bang for your buck, because, no one can fight forever, unfortunately. And Bud really wants this fight. He was talking to him during the fight, during the course of the fight against Errol Spence. He was talking to Charlo, saying, hey, I want you next. And Bud believes that this will make him the all-time great if he beats Charlo. I kind of disagree with that. No, I agree, but it's semantics in there. He said the all-time great. I think he will be an all-time great. Not only that, but I already think he's an all-time great. I don't think he needs Charlo for that. He's already an all-time great. However, to be the all-time great, I don't think he's there. I don't think, even if he beats Charlo, I don't think he's the all-time great. That's no disrespect, but I think, in my opinion, for me, Floyd is an all-time great. Of course, you got Ali and stuff like that, but we talking about more recently. Floyd, the recent pugilist, Floyd is an all-time great. I mean, you still got Ali. Even if you speak of holistically of all boxing, you still got Ali. You still got Sugar Ray Robinson. You still got Sugar Ray Leonard. Like you said, you got Floyd. You got Julio Cesar Chavez. There's other fighters out there. But I definitely think you got to name Terence Crawford up there now. But to say even if he beats Charlo, I still think Floyd is the all-time great, and it's funny because a lot of people talk about a dream match with Floyd at his prime and Terence Crawford at his prime. I think Terence Crawford is 35 years old, going on 36 this year. He's not really I wouldn't say he's in his prime, but he's just boxing. He's just such a monster, man. And shout out to him for that. But Sugar Shane was recently interviewed by Fight Hype, and he was describing Floyd's power, and he said, this is his words now. Sugar Shane Mosley said that Floyd's power is comparable to Canelo's. You got to remember, that's hard for me to believe, but I tell people all the time when people say, oh, Floyd don't knock people out. But there's a reason why people don't just walk him down when he's in the ring. Because he's checking them. He's hitting you when you're vulnerable. He's hitting you with precise punches. And he's hitting you at moments when you're coming forward. So it's going to amplify the hit. You see what I'm saying? It's going to amplify the hit greatly. And I believe Sugar Shane fought Canelo Alvarez, and he fought Floyd. And for him to say that, you can't ignore that, man. You cannot ignore that. And so think about that. He hits as hard as Canelo Alvarez. My boy Terence Crawford said that he has no interest in fighting Canelo Alvarez, because I agree with him. I would think that he thinks he's just too big, So think about that when you try to say who will win between Bud and Floyd. Now, Bud's gonna make it a fight now. However, I will say this, one thing that Bud Crawford said on multiple media outlets, but specifically on the Breakfast Club, he said that he's never had a close win. None of his wins have been questionable. I agree with that 1,000%. I've never seen him be like, oh, I never seen a fight of his be like, oh man, the other guy might have won. Oh no, he has some by decision, but a lot of those are unanimous decisions. He'd never be like, oh man, he should have won. And now Floyd, on the other hand, some people want to say that Oscar was questionable. Man, I swear, what fight are y'all watching? Oscar barely touches Floyd. So I really don't think that Floyd had any questionable wins either. I mean, yeah, I'm talking about as far as the decision. I'm not talking about what led up to the fight. You want to say Pacquiao's shoulder was hurt, whatever. I'm talking about during the fight, in the fight. When have you ever watched a Floyd fight and been like, oh, Floyd didn't control the pace? Floyd is not fighting his fight. The other man is controlling the ring. The other man's controlling the it has a ring generalship. You never see that. You never see or say that. So I think Floyd doesn't really have any questionable fights either. So some would say Oscar. Some would say Chop Chop Corley gave him a good fight. Rest in peace, Diego Corrales. He had good fights, but I don't feel like those ever questionable that he was the winner. So, but I will say that Bud wins in decisive fashion, but he doesn't have anyone. Any win where you could be like, oh man, I don't know if he won that. So I agree with him on that. However, I have seen him hurt. I seen Floyd hurt one time against Sugar Shane Mosley, and what happened? He dominated for the rest of the fight. Terence Crawford. Now think about what Sugar Shane said about Floyd Mayweather's power. Now think about times he was hurt. We seen Terence Crawford hurt. Okay, so first of all, let me say this is the difference between hurt and rocked, right? To me, hurt is like you're wobbled and you might fall. Rocked is like, oh, okay, dang, you hit me. You had to think about it. I think Sean Porter rocked Terence Crawford. I don't think he ever hurt Terence Crawford. That's number one. But I'll say Sean Porter. I know some people argue, it could be little semantics, whatever. But I think Sean Porter hurt Terence Crawford. I think he rocked Terence Crawford. I don't think he ever hurt him. So in my opinion, Sean Porter didn't hurt Terence Crawford. He rocked him. He didn't hurt him. But Gamboa hurt him to his own admission. to his own admission, you know, Terence Crawford said that Gamboa hurt him. But what happened after he got hurt? That same round, Terence Crawford dropped him, bopped him, stopped him. You know what I'm saying? So Terence Crawford is a beast. When he gets hurt, he's gonna fight back. And then the other person that hurt him was how you pronounce it? Kavaliauskas. He also hurt him, and some people said that was a knockdown. I personally don't think that was a knockdown. I think he was trying to hold himself up, and then the fact that he was moving like this, Kavaliauskas tried to get him off him. He might have slipped off him. Granted, you could count it as a knockdown. I know I'm gonna get a lot of backlash for it. Let me know in the comments and on the email, man. Send me an email. I'll let them know what you think. No problem. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't think he was knocked down. I agree with Terence Crawford. I don't think he was knocked down. That's not being a fanboy. I just don't think it was a legal knockdown. But some might say that, you know, and I can understand the argument, you know. But so he definitely did struggle with Spencer. So I think with that argument, Floyd versus Terence Crawford, I have no reason to go with Terence Crawford. But he's not going to get just ran over. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, once again, those are two all-time greats. So just saying that someone's going to win and someone's going to lose is no disrespect to the other fighter, which, of course, people are going to take everything as motivation. So shout out Terence Crawford. But right now, he's pound for pound the best. I don't hear nothing, nobody else. Terence Crawford is a pound for pound best. He's been that way for a while. He should have been a household name for a while. Man, shout out to TC, man. Shout out to Terence Bud Crawford, man. He's doing his thing, man. And also, Bobby interviewed at the Breakfast Club. Bud, I think Charlemagne the God asked him if he carried Spence. And Bud said, no, I didn't carry Spence. Which was me and my, I had this conversation in, I think it was episode 5 of Engineers to the Streets with Dr. TC. I don't think he carried him. You know, people are insinuating that he carried Spence, but Terence Crawford even said, he said, no, I didn't carry him, man. You got to respect these fighters. And he said, Errol Spence, you see, even when I knocked him down, he was hurt. I definitely hurt him, but he kept coming. That's what he is. He's a warrior. And I gotta respect him and his power. He has game changing power. He has fight changing power. So he respects. It's not that he carried him. He just didn't have to. He thought that the risk outweighed the reward. He was already had control of the fight. He was dominating the fight. There's no point in taking that risk to try to knock him out and risk getting caught with something else to expose yourself. So yeah, he said he didn't carry Spence, but he did say that he felt that Spence's corner should have stopped it in the 7th round, and which I could see that. You know, I agree with that. Because you got to protect the fighter from themselves. Because like I said, these are all warriors that they'll go out on their shield if they have to. So sometimes you got to protect your corner is there to protect you from yourself. And like I said, I have a little bit of amateur background. I was an amateur boxer and stuff like that. Sometimes, you know, the corner got to get you up out of there. That's what they're there for. You know, when I'm sparring with somebody and my opponent wasn't doing that well, my boxing coach will get him up out of there. Because, you know, there's a lot of times some people will quit, but some people don't. You don't get to the level of Spencer, world-class level of Crawford, and you have quitting. You don't have quitting you. So you gotta protect them from themselves, man. So yeah, so I think that Terence Crawford was right. You know, I don't think he carried him, but he could have got him out of there earlier if he really wanted to. I think he could have, but I wouldn't say that he carried Errol Spence, man. And yeah, I do think that Floyd, although it will be albeit a good fight, I think Floyd will come out on top against Terence Crawford because, like I said, I just don't see. There's nothing for me to say definitively that Terence Crawford would win. But it'll be a great fight because Terence Crawford is a great fighter and Floyd will have to fight. He's going to have to turn to pretty boy Floyd, that fighter. You know what I'm saying? He's going to bring that dog out of him. But yeah, that's enough of that, man. Let me know what y'all think about that in the comments. Also, boxing over the weekend, man. We saw Navarrete versus Valdez. They had a classic fight at junior lightweight where we saw Navarrete. He won by unanimous decision. So that was a good fight, man. And those are the little boxing news. Oh, yeah. Also, now this is where we go. Anthony Joshua beat Helenius by KO. And guess what he had the audacity to do? This audacious Brit. You know what I'm saying? Let me say it again. This audacious Brit. The audacity of this Englishman. He called out Wilder. Nigga, what? He called out Wilder, man. Come back, nigga, please, man. Stop it, man. Just go ahead. Let that ship doesn't sail, man. Leave people alone, bro. You know, this is where I say, remember I said I don't think any of these warriors are scared? I'm sorry. I think Anthony Joshua is scared. Think about it. Those of you that, my boxing enthusiasts out there, remember at one time at heavyweight, there was the top 4, right? The big 4. The big 4 was who? Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, and Luis Ortiz. Do I really got to tell y'all? Luis Ortiz fought. Wilder fought Luis Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? They all fought one another. Fury fought Wilder. You know what I'm saying? They all fought each other. Ortiz didn't fight Joshua. Wilder didn't fight Joshua. Fury didn't fight Joshua. Why is that? What's the common denominator? Anthony Joshua. So I said that the majority of these warriors, I'll say 95% of them are not scared. Cannot say somebody's scared because they put their body on the line. Anthony Joshua was scared. He was scared of them. Now, whatever reason, maybe he done got some of that Texas cooking. You know, he down there at Errol Spence and Charlo's camp out there with Derrick James and them. Maybe they instilled some confidence in him. But I don't want to hear about that fight. Man, he went and took the Andy Ruiz fight and lost. That's the route that he took. He went and fought Andy Ruiz, man. You remember that? And he lost, trying to duck everybody else. Now he want to call out Wilder. Man, stop it, man. Stop it, bro. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear that. I'm not here for that. Yeah, I do. I mean, now, don't get me wrong now. Don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. I would definitely love to see it. You feel me? I would love to see it. Don't get it twisted. I would love to see it, but we don't believe you, bro. We don't believe you, bro. Let's look this up, man. Let's look this up, man. Let's see when they were supposed to fight. I'm gonna tell you how long ago they were supposed to fight. Deontay Wilder, they could have fought and Tyson Fury and Luis Ortiz. They could have all fought each other all the way back in 2017, bro. 2018, 2017, people wanted them to fight. And now Anthony Joshua, all of a sudden, now he wants to fight, man. Come on, bro. Stop it, bro. I don't want to hear that from you, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. You go fight Usyk or whoever, and Andrew Ruiz. Go make sure you take them out, man. Stop it, man. But yeah, man. So I no disrespect to Joshua. Like I said, it is a sport. He's a beast. He's a beast. But come on, man. You don't really want that pressure, man. My job here is to kick it. I'm the engineers. We're the engineers to the streets. Keep our ear to the streets. The streets say you don't want that pressure. So stop faking, man. I'm no disrespect to Joshua. He's a hell of a fighter. But he knows his limitations. I respect that, but don't be out here wolfing, man. I can't respect no wolfing. And yeah, I don't no disrespect to Anthony Joshua once again, but we gonna keep it funky like a donkey and a chunky monkey. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? That's what we hear. You know what I'm talking about? So we gonna keep it funky right here, man. We not gonna let nobody get away with no cap. You don't want that pressure, so let that thing ride, man. It's been a long time. Let it go, bro. Let it go. We know you don't want that smoke, bro. We know you do not want that smoke. So on to other news, man. On to other news, a little away from sports, man. Back into pop culture and entertainment. I know y'all see Megan Thee Stallion right there, man. Tory Lanez has been sentenced to a decade, bro. He got sentenced over the weekend, or the past few days. I don't remember if it was over the weekend exactly, but maybe it could have been Thursday or Friday or something like that. But anyway, he got 10 years, bro. 10 years for allegedly shooting. Well, he's convicted, right? So it's not alleged no more. He shot Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. You know what I'm saying? And he was actually facing up to 22 years, I believe. 22 to 24 years. So he got 10 years. A lot of people are saying, man, that was harsh. That was harsh. Yeah, that's a lot of time. But, it's state time, man. He's out there in Cali. He got convicted and sentenced in California. So he going to serve 50%, right? So that's 5 years. And he probably already have some time that's counted as time served. So he going to be all right, man. You know what I'm saying? So, according to Boosie, we love Boosie right here, man. Little Boosie. Bad, I'm talking about Boosie said that he got off easy. He said in Louisiana he would have got 40. And I agree with Boosie. You don't want I don't want any of my brothers and sisters. I don't want nobody to serve no time. But at the same time, you want people to be safe. Megan Thee Stallion's a woman, bro. Why are you brandishing a firearm towards a woman anyway? You know what I'm saying? I don't care if she's bigger than you, smaller than you, taller than you, larger than you. I don't care what the dynamic is of your relationship. Unless she also has a firearm or she's threatening your life maybe with like some type of weapon, especially if y'all dating or y'all have some type of, history together. Why are you pulling out a gun? Come on, dog. You just doing too much, man. You trying to, you got caught up in the lifestyle, caught up in the moment. You're already a small dude. Probably got that Napoleon complex. You know what I'm saying? And so maybe they got in an argument and he brought out a gun shooting at the feet. Allegedly, he was shooting at the feet, telling them to dance. Come on, dog. Like, I'm sorry, man. You made that situation. I'm not gonna feel bad that you got a decade now. You don't want anybody to get time, but you took it to court. First of all, like Tony Ayo would say, and like Boosie would say on Vlad TV when they were interviewed there, bro, you shoot a civilian, bro, especially a civilian with the renown, a superstar, celebrity, and it's a woman, and you take it to court, bro. You cop out, bro. You take the plea deal, and you now you take it to court. You spending tax money, you spending government money, you spending people's money, you spending all types of money, all types of resources. Well, they gonna throw the book at you, bro. They gonna try to get you for whatever they can, and he got the 10 years, man. Do I feel bad for him? There's a lot of young brothers and sisters out there that are wrongfully accused and wrongfully jailed, serving time right now in the Bing. I feel sorry for them. I don't feel sorry for a dude pulling out a gun on a woman that he used to date or that he was dating and arguing. I'm sorry, I don't feel bad. There's a lot of other things I can feel bad about. You know what I'm saying? I wish him the best. I don't wish jail time on anybody. Number one, but you reap what you sow, bro. Why you shooting at a female, bro? That's crazy. A lot of people saying I feel bad for Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion was lying. I don't care if she. I don't know the story. I wasn't there, But apparently, how the story goes that Tory Lanez went to another lawyer because the previous lawyer didn't want to use her best friend Kelsey as a way to get up out of his sentencing, and so, But why would you even want to go that angle? Because he's so high and mighty that he went and text, or was it on Instagram or something? Somebody said that someone blamed Kelsey for shooting Megan Thee Stallion, Kelsey her best friend, and he explicitly said no, she didn't do the shooting. So if she didn't shoot her and you didn't shoot her, are we saying that Megan Thee Stallion shot herself? Maybe the bullet fell out the sky. Like I said, I don't know the story. He took his chances in the judicial system. He lost. It is what it is, man. You shouldn't have a firearm with her. I don't know the story. I don't care at this point. I just, he got 10 years. I'm just bringing you all that news, man. He got 10 years. Hopefully he'll get 50% and, and time served already. And hopefully he'll get also good behavior. Reduce that sentence, man. Wish him the best. Wish him through that, because nobody wants to go sit down for a long time. I've never been in prison or jail in the capacity of a prisoner, but I've been as a visitor, and I don't even like going as a visitor. I have siblings and uncles and friends that I visited. I don't even like being in there in the capacity of a visitor. So I don't wish that upon anybody, but at the same time too, man, laws are there for a reason to stop, because there's fools out there, man. People are foolish and they just feel like they can do whatever they want. And unfortunately, other powers and authoritative figures have to step in and check these motherfuckers, man. And he just got checked. So it is what it is, man. We gonna move on, man. Speaking of that, and speaking of people that get it checked, man, I want to check on everybody, man. I want to check on everybody. You know what I'm saying? Not to force you. Y'all know me. I'm a very faithful person, spiritual person. I believe in God always, and Jesus Christ is my Savior, and you know what I'm saying, my Heavenly Father. And without Him, I'm nothing. So, I'm very strong in my faith. And I think that's what keeps me sane, and it keeps me going, it keeps me strong and motivated and inspired and ambitious and stuff like that. And everybody doesn't have that. Everybody doesn't have a strong foundation like that. So I wanted to shout out my mama PG, man. She instilled that in me as a long age, and I carried it with me up until my adulthood. And there's a lot of things that have been going on in the world, man. A lot of people have been down. Depression's been kicking in, especially in light of the pandemic of COVID and stuff like that. A lot of people are isolated by themselves. And I was doing some research, and I saw that the suicide rate has increased and by 2022. And the 2023 figures, the concrete definitive figures, haven't been released yet. But according to the CDC, which is the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, they released information saying that this has been the highest suicide rate in U.S. history on record, man. We have almost 50,000 people that have taken their own life, man. 49,449 to be exact, according to the CDC. So that's nearly 50K, and that's kind of sad, man. Not kind of, that is sad, man. That's approximately 15 deaths per 100,000 people in the U.S. So, I want to just make sure everybody's okay. You want to check on each other, man. Love each other. Check on your homie that you ain't heard from in a long time. Check on your home girl. Check on your partner, your auntie, your great cousin, your great cousin, your second cousin, third cousin, all that stuff, man. Check on your people, man, and make sure that they're okay. And if you are struggling through something, I'm not gonna force my religion on you, but I would say talk to God or talk to somebody that you could confide in. Whether it's a professor, a teacher, a preacher, somebody at the grocery store, maybe somebody's older than you, your grandparents, your friend, maybe you have a wise friend, confide in somebody, man. You don't have to take that burden alone, man, and Jesus died for our sins, so everything's gonna be forgiven, and He's there for us. Maybe watch a show that you like and enjoy, because times can get hard, and sometimes you get stuck in your own mind, you get entrapped in your own mind and into your own thoughts. So if you are gonna be in your head, you with yourself all day. You might as well be circulating positive thoughts in your dome, you know what I'm saying, through your cerebellum. But yeah, I just want to make sure everybody's okay, man. And yeah, man, sometimes you gotta get on your knees and pray, man. I'm definitely a large advocate for that, man. So, so just please, suicide is never the answer. Don't take your own life. Hey, it might be dark and cloudy at this moment, but at the next moment, tomorrow, the next week, the next month, the next year, the next decade, it's gonna be sunny again. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be sunny. The bad times don't last forever. Good times don't last forever either. But the bad times damn sure don't last forever, man. So you're gonna get through it. Just be strong. And yeah, holla at me in the emails if you want to let me know anything. Engineers to the streets. I'll be glad to rap with you for a little bit, and you know we can get to the bottom of it. Man, holla at me if you need to. You know, we can share our experiences, what we're going through. But yeah. So I just want to make sure everybody's okay, doing well in this check. And also too, man, like I said, the suicide rate has increased, and when white males are at the highest risk of suicide by way of firearm. You know, so a lot of gunshot suicides are done by white males. You know, which I don't think that's really surprising. You know, but it's what you think about, you know, cultures and how things go. You know, but we don't want anybody to hurt themselves, man. You know, black, white, Hispanic, male, female, Asian, heterosexual, homosexual, anywhere in between, you know, Christian, atheist. We don't want anybody to take their lives. We want everybody to be okay. And that's why we out here doing shows like this to help you smile. You know what I'm talking about? Don't I help you smile? You know what I'm saying? Y'all help me smile. So I appreciate y'all. That's how we gonna wrap it up, man. Pray, man. Just pray. Stay strong in that faith, man. Go watch you some positive motivation. Go listen to your favorite song. Watch your favorite show. Drink your favorite Kool-Aid. Do something, hell. But never harm yourself, man. But I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. That's Engineers to the Street, episode 7. Check us out on Spotify. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Hit that notification bell as well so you get notified when I drop another YouTube video banger. As well as send us an email. Let me know what you think about this episode or any of the topics, what you agree on, what you disagree upon, what you are in concurrence with, what you don't like, what you are in strong disagreement with. You know what I'm saying? What you disagree with vehemently. You know what I'm saying? Let me know. Let me know, man. I appreciate y'all. We out. God bless. Peace. engineearstothestreetz@gmail.com. Catch y'all on the next one. Enjoy what you just saw? Follow my other socials as well. Don't forget to like the video.